Have you ever wondered what separates millionaires from the rest? Imagine having the power to transform your life and achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Sounds like a distant dream? It doesn't have to be. In this video, we'll explore the secret behind the millionaire mindset and how trusting your instincts can be the key to unlocking the success you deserve. If you want to understand how great leaders and entrepreneurs make the right decisions and stand out in a sea of competition, you've come to the right place. Get ready to discover how to trust your instincts and cultivate a millionaire mindset that can take you to a level of success you never thought possible. Before we go into the video, only subscribers can watch the video until the end. So make sure you are subscribed to continue watching this video. Now, let's get right into the video. 1. Sower and harvest. Think of life as a large field of fertile land. Every decision you make, every action you take, is like a seed that you choose to plant in that field. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, what kind of seeds am I planting? Because, just like in agriculture, what you plant today will determine what you will harvest in the future. If you have ever watched someone plant a tree, you know that the process is not instantaneous. First, the person chooses the right seed, digs the soil, plants the seed, and then needs to care for that seed with patience and persistence. This means watering it, making sure it gets enough sun, protecting it from pests, and waiting. And the same goes for our lives. When we decide to invest time and effort in something, be it at work, in a personal project, in a relationship, or in a skill we want to develop, we are planting those seeds. But just planting is not enough. It is the ongoing care that will allow those seeds to grow. Let's apply this to an everyday example. Imagine that you want to be an excellent volleyball player. At first, you may even have talent, but talent alone is just a small seed. To become really good, you need to water it with training, discipline, proper nutrition, learning from mistakes and, of course, a lot of patience. Just as a plant does not grow overnight, your skills will not develop instantly either. This is the natural cycle: plant, care, and then harvest. And what is interesting here is that, often, what you harvest is much greater than what you planted. An orange seed, for example, may seem insignificant. But if it is planted correctly and cared for carefully, it turns into a tree that, over time, can bear hundreds of oranges. This is the power of harvesting. The effort you put into something today can bear fruit for many, many years. Now, let's look at another side of this analogy. In the same way that you can plant seeds of effort and dedication, you can also plant bad seeds, such as procrastination, lack of discipline, or negativity. And what do you think you will reap from these seeds? Obviously, the result will not be positive. If someone spends months or years ignoring their studies, for example, that person is planting seeds that will generate a harvest of academic difficulties or even failure. What you plant has a direct impact on what you will reap, and this is inescapable. Sometimes, we can also plant seeds without realizing it. For example, a negative or pessimistic attitude repeated over time is like a seed of problems that you do not even realize you are planting, but that will eventually grow and manifest in your life. Someone who constantly complains about the opportunities they do not have, but does nothing to improve their situation, is planting the seed of stagnation. And this is something that, sooner or later, that person will reap. Another important point is to understand that the harvest comes in due time. Many times, people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. But, just as a plant takes time to grow, the fruits of our efforts can also take time. The harvest does not happen when you plant, but at the right time, after all the time and care required. So the big question is, what do you want to reap in the future? If you want to reap success, happiness, and fulfillment, you need to start planting the right seeds today. This means making conscious decisions, acting with intention, and, above all, not expecting results to appear overnight. Every small action you take today is a seed planted that, over time, will grow into something bigger. Ultimately, life is a continuous cycle of planting and harvesting. The key is to understand that everything you do, or fail to do, contributes to what you will experience in the future. If you take good care of your plants, the harvest will be abundant and full of rewards. If not, the fruits may be very different from what you expected. 2. Small decisions generate big results. Have you ever noticed how, often, the biggest changes in life don't come from a single, gigantic moment, but rather from a series of small choices we make over time? Every decision you make in your daily life, no matter how small it may seem, has a cumulative impact. And this impact, over time, can be the difference between success and failure, between a life of achievements and a life full of regrets. Let's imagine that you have the goal of getting in shape and improving your health. The first thing that comes to mind might be a big change, like starting a radical diet or getting into an intense workout routine. But, in reality, what will make the real difference are those small daily choices. Every time you choose to eat a piece of fruit instead of a sweet treat, or every time you decide to take the stairs instead of the elevator, you are planting small seeds that, over time, generate big results. This idea of small decisions shaping the future can be seen in many areas of life. If you dedicate 10 minutes a day to learning a new language, it may not seem like a big deal at first. But after 6 months, you will see that your vocabulary has grown considerably. Now, imagine that instead of dedicating those 10 minutes to studying, you decide to watch random videos on the internet. This also seems like a small and harmless thing, right? But over time, these small choices can add up to hours and hours of wasted time. An example that illustrates this well is the effect of saving or investing money. If someone starts saving small amounts of money regularly, even if it seems small at first, over time, the accumulated amount can turn into a significant amount. The same goes for the way we spend our time and energy. Small consistent actions, when done repeatedly, have the power to completely transform our lives. Now, consider another perspective: the small decisions we make unconsciously. Have you ever thought about how the way you start your day can influence the rest of it? If you wake up a little earlier to stretch, organize your schedule, or simply take a deep breath and focus on your goals, you start the day with a different mindset. On the other hand, if the first thing you do is grab your phone and start scrolling through social media without planning, you are already letting your time slip away. These small decisions also affect our relationships. Imagine that you are building a friendship or a romantic relationship. Small gestures, such as sending a loving message, listening carefully when the person is talking, or doing something special as a surprise, may seem simple, but it is these small things that, over time, strengthen the bond. Ignoring these gestures, or worse, taking small negative actions such as ignoring a message or being impatient, also accumulate, but in a harmful way. We often underestimate the impact of these small decisions because we expect the changes to be immediate and visible. It is natural to expect quick results, but the real power lies in consistency. Small actions, when done frequently, create a kind of snowball effect. At first, the ball is small and seems to move slowly, but as it rolls, it grows and gains speed, until the final impact is gigantic. And there's more: these small decisions are like bricks in a wall. Each one contributes to the construction of something bigger. A solid wall is not made of a single large brick, but of many small bricks, carefully placed one at a time. Life works the same way. If you want to build a successful career, you need to make small daily decisions that move you in that direction: study a little more, strive to improve every day, make contacts, learn from your mistakes. Over time, these actions accumulate and will result in something great. On the other hand, if you make negative choices, even if they seem small and harmless at first, they will also accumulate. Skipping a workout here, procrastinating on a project there, spending money impulsively. All of these seem insignificant at the time, but over time, the results of these decisions can be disastrous. It's like building a wall with shoddy bricks: eventually, it will crumble. So the takeaway here is, pay attention to the small choices you make every day. Even if they seem insignificant, they have a powerful cumulative effect. The key to achieving great results is making these small choices with intention and consistency. It's like building a legacy, brick by brick, until you're amazed at how much you've accomplished. 3. How to learn from other people's mistakes. Have you ever stopped to think about how much easier life would be if we could avoid all our mistakes by simply observing the failures of others? It's a concept that seems obvious, but we often don't give it the attention it deserves. The truth is that learning from other people's mistakes is one of the smartest ways to evolve without having to pay the emotional, financial, or time price that others have already paid. Imagine that you are about to start a new project, whether it's opening a business, starting a new diet, or learning a new hobby. Instead of jumping straight into it and learning the hard way, you could benefit from observing the experiences of those who have already been down this path. What did these people do right? Where did they fail? What were the mistakes that cost them dearly? These questions, when answered, have the power to save you a lot of headaches. It's as if you were navigating a minefield, and someone ahead of you had already gone part of the way, detonating some mines. By observing where they have stepped and the mistakes they have made, you can adjust your path to avoid those same obstacles. Instead of following the normal course and taking risks, you now know where not to step, making your journey safer and more effective. The history of humanity is full of examples of this. Great inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders have learned from the mistakes of others to achieve their achievements. Think of Thomas Edison, who tested thousands of materials to create the electric light bulb. Each mistake he made represented a valuable lesson that could be used by other inventors, saving them time and effort. Another example is the business world. Many startups fail because they make mistakes that could have been avoided if their founders had studied the failures of previous companies. But how, in practice, can you learn from the mistakes of others? First, you need to be attentive and observant. Often, the lesson is right in front of us, but we are so focused on our own challenges that we fail to notice it. If you have a coworker who is struggling with a project, instead of just watching from a distance, try to understand what happened. What did he do wrong? How could you do it differently if you were in his shoes? This type of questioning better prepares you to face similar challenges in the future. Another powerful way to learn from other people's mistakes is to read and educate yourself. Biographies, business books, documentaries, articles, all of these resources are full of stories of people who faced failures and learned from them. By reading the story of someone who tried and failed, you are essentially borrowing that experience. You don't have to go through the suffering, but you can understand the essence of what went wrong and, more importantly, why. A classic example of this is the study of great investors. Many of them dedicate themselves not only to studying success stories in the market, but, above all, to studying major bankruptcies. They want to understand what led promising companies to ruin, and with this understanding, they make safer decisions. Similarly, in the world of sports, athletes analyze their competitors, learning from their mistakes and weaknesses to improve their own performances. Now, let's think about something simple from everyday life. Imagine that you are learning to ride a bike. If you see someone else losing their balance on a sharp curve, you already know that you need to slow down in that type of situation to avoid falling. This is practical and immediate learning that prevents a future fall. Another fundamental point about learning from other people's mistakes is the power of humility. Recognizing that we don't have to be the only one to make mistakes to learn something saves us time and energy. Often, our ego prevents us from seeing these opportunities, and we end up insisting on making mistakes that could have been avoided. It's as if we think, I need to go through this to really understand. But that's not quite the case. True wisdom lies in knowing that we can learn from our own mistakes as well as from those of others. However, it's important to remember that even if you learn from other people's mistakes, it doesn't mean that you will never make mistakes. After all, we are human, and mistakes are part of the growth process. What changes is that by observing what others have done wrong, you minimize unnecessary mistakes and are better prepared to deal with challenges. When you inevitably make a mistake, you will already have a solid foundation of knowledge to recover more quickly. Finally, the great benefit of learning from the mistakes of others is that you accelerate your own progress. Instead of remaining stagnant, repeating the same mistakes that so many have made before you, you can move forward faster and more efficiently. And, over time, this makes a huge difference. After all, success isn't just about getting more right, it's also about getting fewer wrong. Hey, if you are enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit the like button down below. It will give more of this content to you. Let's continue the video. 4. Why most people don't become rich. Have you ever wondered why so many people dream of being rich, but only a small percentage actually achieve it? The answer is not as simple as it seems. There are many factors that influence it, and understanding these factors can be the key to making your dream a reality. One of the biggest reasons is that many people are not clear about what it really means to be rich. For some, being rich means having a big house, fancy cars, and traveling the world. For others, it means having financial freedom, that is, not having to work your whole life to pay the bills. But if you don't know exactly what wealth means to you, how can you chart a path to achieve it? In addition to the lack of clarity, there is the issue of habits and beliefs. Many people grow up with the idea that wealth is something difficult to achieve, that it is only possible for those who were born into a rich family or who are lucky. These limiting beliefs create mental barriers that prevent people from seeking opportunities or believing that they can achieve this goal. Think of a child who grows up hearing their parents say that money doesn't grow on trees, or that we are poor, but we are honest. By hearing this repeatedly, they may associate wealth with something unattainable or even negative. And these beliefs follow them into adulthood, often unconsciously. Without realizing it, they sabotage themselves, avoiding risky investments, turning down business opportunities, or even not seeking financial education, because they believe that money is not for me. Another important factor is financial behavior. Many people have the habit of spending everything they earn or even more than they earn. Instead of thinking about the future and saving, they focus on meeting immediate needs. And consumer society encourages this behavior. Advertising, social media, all of this bombards us with the idea that we need the latest cell phone, the latest brand name clothes, the newest car. The result? Debt. And when someone is in debt, it becomes much harder to invest or save to build wealth in the long term. On the other hand, people who manage to accumulate wealth usually have a different mindset. They understand the value of money and know that it must be managed well. They invest in financial education, learn how to make money work for them through investments and not just the other way around. And, most importantly, they are patient. They understand that building wealth is a process that takes time and does not happen overnight. Another aspect is the comfort zone. Many people simply settle for what they have. They may not be happy with their finances, but they are also not willing to change. Change requires effort, sacrifice, and often, breaking out of the routine. It can be scary to try something new, like starting a business, making an investment, or even learning new skills. The security of a steady job and a paycheck at the end of the month seems more appealing than the risk of something new. This comfort zone mentality is also linked to the fear of failure. Many people are so afraid of failing that they prefer not to even try. They look at the lives of rich people and think that these people simply got lucky or that everything was handed to them on a silver platter. But in reality, many millionaires and billionaires failed multiple times before achieving success. The difference is that they didn't let the fear of failure paralyze them. They used each failure as an opportunity to learn. Another reason that prevents many people from becoming rich is a lack of focus and discipline. Building wealth requires consistency. It's not enough to save money once or make occasional investments. You need to create healthy financial habits and maintain them over the long term. However, many people get distracted along the way. They start out well, but at some point they lose focus either because of immediate temptations, such as spending on unnecessary things, or because they don't see quick results. Finally, there's also the skill factor. Many people simply don't develop the skills necessary to become rich. This includes financial management skills, such as knowing how to save, invest, and avoid debt, but also professional and entrepreneurial skills. Rich people tend to invest in themselves, always seeking to learn and improve. They understand that the world is constantly changing and that in order to continue growing financially, they need to continue developing themselves. For those who want to achieve wealth, the first step is to become aware of all of these factors and then start working to change what is necessary. This means reevaluating your beliefs about money, learning to manage your finances more efficiently, and being willing to take calculated risks. It is not an easy path, but it is possible. The most important thing is to be patient and understand that wealth does not come overnight. It is the result of habits, decisions, and a growth mindset that is built over time. 5. The growth mindset. A growth mindset is one of the most powerful factors that separates successful people from those who stagnate. So what exactly does it mean to have a growth mindset? Let's think about it in a simple way. It's believing that you can continually improve, learn, and develop, regardless of where you are now. Imagine a child learning to ride a bike. At first, he falls several times, gets frustrated, feels scared, but doesn't give up. Each fall is an opportunity to learn how to balance better, to discover how to pedal with more control, until one day, he can ride without training wheels. What this child did was exactly what people with a growth mindset do. He saw mistakes as part of the learning process, not as a sign of failure. Now, think about an adult who, for whatever reason, never learned to ride a bike. He might think, oh, I'm too old for that now, or I've never been good at these things, so there's no point in trying. This type of thinking is the opposite of a growth mindset. It's called a fixed mindset, which is when a person believes that their abilities and intelligence are limited and cannot change. It's as if they believe that if they weren't born knowing how to do something, they will never learn. In a growth mindset, the focus is on the learning process, on the journey to improve, and not just on the end result. It's about understanding that no one starts out as an expert, but that with effort and practice, you can achieve anything you want. A great example of a growth mindset is successful entrepreneurs. Many of them failed in their first businesses, but that didn't stop them from trying again. They learned from their mistakes, adjusted their strategies, and persisted until they achieved their goals. For them, each mistake is an opportunity to learn something new and improve. This is the opposite of someone with a fixed mindset, who gives up after the first obstacle, believing that they weren't cut out for it. The growth mindset is also closely linked to how we view effort. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges that require a lot of effort, because they think that if something is difficult, it means it's not for them. People with a growth mindset, on the other hand, see effort as a positive thing. They know that it is through effort that they become better and more skilled. Another important point is how we deal with criticism and feedback. If you have a fixed mindset, criticism can be seen as a personal attack. You may feel that if someone points out a flaw, it means that you are not good enough. But with a growth mindset, feedback is seen as a tool to improve. Instead of feeling offended, you use this criticism to identify where you can improve. This completely changes the way you approach learning. The point is that we can all develop a growth mindset. Even if, at times, you feel stuck in a fixed mindset, it is possible to change this way of thinking. The first step is to recognize that the potential for development is within you. It does not matter if you think that you are bad with numbers, not good at business, or not cut out to learn languages. These are limiting beliefs that you can break. To start developing a growth mindset, it is essential that you allow yourself to fail. Failure is part of the process. Often, the fear of failure is what stops us from trying something new. But if you can see failures as valuable lessons, as opportunities for growth, that fear begins to fade. It's also important to seek out challenges. The people who grow the most are those who put themselves in challenging situations. When you face something difficult, your brain is forced to find new solutions, think in different ways, and expand its capabilities. This creates new neural connections, literally making you smarter over time. Another vital aspect is continuous practice. People with a growth mindset understand that constant practice is what leads to excellence. They don't expect to be perfect at first, but they know that if they keep practicing, they will eventually improve. Think of athletes, musicians, or any other high-performance professional. They dedicate hours and hours to perfecting their skills, knowing that every minute of practice brings them closer to their goals. Finally, it's essential to surround yourself with people who also have a growth mindset. When you are in an environment where learning and improvement are valued, you feel more motivated to continue developing. Talking to people who are looking to grow helps you see new possibilities and not give up when faced with difficulties. In short, a growth mindset is what allows you to keep evolving, even when you face obstacles. It turns challenges into opportunities, criticism into learning, and failures into stepping stones to success. Adopting this mindset can not only help you achieve your financial goals, but it can also transform your life in every area, because you start to believe in your potential to grow and improve continuously. 6. The importance of making quick and effective decisions. One of the greatest secrets of successful people is the ability to make quick and effective decisions. At first glance, this may seem like a small detail, but in fact, it is an essential skill for those who want to stand out and achieve their goals consistently. Making quick decisions does not mean being impulsive, but rather trusting in your ability to analyze the situation and act without hesitation. Let's imagine a common situation. You are in a store, deciding between two purchase options, and you stand there, thinking, re-evaluating, and rethinking, without being able to make up your mind. Maybe you are afraid of making the wrong decision, so you keep putting it off. Now, think of a successful person. They walk into the store, quickly evaluate the options, make their choice, and move on. This difference in attitude, although it may seem simple, reveals something profound. While one person is paralyzed by indecision, the other moves forward, because they understand that the time wasted thinking can be better used in other productive actions. Successful people know that in many situations, it is more important to act than to wait for the perfect decision. This does not mean that they do not care about making the right choices, but rather that they recognize that inaction can be even more damaging. Imagine a businessman who needs to decide whether to invest in a new project. If he thinks too long, waiting for a perfect scenario or all the guarantees, he may miss a valuable opportunity, while his competitors are already ahead, seizing the moment. But what is the secret behind this ability to make quick decisions? The first point is confidence. Successful people are confident in their ability to assess a situation based on the information they have at the time. They know that, most of the time, they will not have all the data available, but that does not stop them from taking action. It is like a chess player who cannot predict all the future moves, but knows enough to move forward with confidence, adjusting his strategy as the game progresses. Another important aspect is the understanding that no decision is final. Often, people are afraid of making mistakes, because they see their choices as definitive. But successful people see decisions as part of a dynamic process. If a choice doesn't yield the expected result, they adjust course and move on. It's like driving a car on a long road. If you take a wrong turn, you can always make a U-turn later. The important thing is to keep moving, rather than stopping halfway, waiting for perfect instructions that may never come. Think of great leaders and entrepreneurs. They are constantly making decisions, from hiring, to investments, to strategic changes in their business. These decisions are not easy, and often involve risk, but they know that analysis paralysis, that is, the act of overthinking without taking action, can be even more damaging than making a mistake. A clear example of this is the stock market. Many people wait for the perfect moment to invest, but those who are truly successful in this market know that it is impossible to predict with 100% certainty. They do their analysis, make the best decision based on the information available and, most importantly, act. Another factor that facilitates quick decision-making is clarity of objectives. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to decide what needs to be done to get there. For example, if your goal is to achieve financial independence, you can quickly identify which investments or business opportunities align with that goal and which are just distractions. Clarity brings focus, and focus makes the decision-making process more agile and accurate. Now, a fundamental point is that making quick decisions also requires being willing to accept risks. People with a fixed mindset, who are afraid of making mistakes, tend to avoid any type of risk. They prefer to stay where they are, even if it means missing out on opportunities for growth. On the other hand, successful people understand that every advancement involves some level of risk. They are not reckless, but they know that avoiding risk completely also means avoiding success. That is why, when making quick and effective decisions, accepting mistakes is part of the process. Instead of seeing mistakes as failure, successful people see mistakes as part of the path to success. They understand that when making decisions, they may not always get it right the first time, but they are willing to correct their course and continue toward their goal. Another interesting detail is that practice makes decision-making faster and more effective. The more you practice your decision-making skills, the more confident and efficient you become in this process. At first, it may seem difficult or uncomfortable to make decisions quickly, but over time, your brain adapts and becomes more skilled at analyzing situations and acting accordingly. In short, making quick and effective decisions is a key characteristic of successful people. This doesn't mean acting without thinking, but rather avoiding paralysis and procrastination. It's about trusting your ability to learn and adjust as you go. So the next time you find yourself stuck in indecision, remember, it's better to take action and learn from the process than to wait for the perfect choice, which may never come. If you are determined to changing your life, then comment the word millionaire in the comments section. Into number 7. 7. How to trust your gut and make confident decisions. Trusting your gut is like having a superpower that helps you make important decisions, even when logic and data don't provide a clear answer. Many successful people talk about the importance of following your gut feeling, and this isn't just a magic trick, it's a skill that can be cultivated and honed over time. Let's consider a simple example. Imagine you're choosing between two job options. One of them seems perfect on paper, great salary, amazing benefits, and a reputable company. However, something inside you doesn't feel quite right about this option. On the other hand, the other choice may seem less glamorous, but you feel a genuine connection to the work and the team. Here, your gut is telling you something important. The choice that feels right may not be aligned with what you really want and need to be happy and fulfilled. But what are these gut feelings, exactly? They are often the result of our experience and knowledge accumulated over the years. Even though we can't always explain why we feel something, our instincts are a way for our brains to process information and come to conclusions based on patterns we've learned over time. It's like when you meet someone for the first time and feel like you can trust them or not, even though you don't have a clear reason. Your instincts are reflecting your unconscious perceptions, based on past experiences and intuition. For example, think of a professional athlete. They train daily and develop a keen awareness of their own body and game situations. When they're on the field, they often make instant, intuitive decisions, such as knowing where to pass the ball or what move to make to avoid an opponent. These decisions are guided by a combination of practical experience and a quick awareness of the conditions around them. While they may not have time to consider all the options, they trust their instincts to make the right choice. Trusting your instincts can be especially helpful when you're faced with ambiguous situations or when logical analysis doesn't provide a definitive answer. When you feel a strong intuition, it's important to listen to it and reflect on it. But how can you strengthen that trust in your instincts? Know yourself. Trusting your instincts starts with a good understanding of who you are, what your values and goals are. The more you know yourself, the easier it will be to listen to and understand what your instincts are trying to tell you. When you know what's important to you, your intuitions will better align with your true needs and desires. Experiment and learn. Sometimes trusting your instincts can feel risky, but the best way to strengthen this skill is to practice. Start with small decisions and notice how your intuitions manifest themselves. Over time, you'll learn to differentiate between reliable intuitions and momentary impulses. Reflection and analysis. After making a decision based on your instincts, reflect on the results. Ask yourself if the decision was a positive one and what you learned from the experience. This will help you fine-tune and hone your ability to trust your intuition in the future. Develop mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness can help you better tune into your intuition. When you are more aware of the present moment, it is easier to notice and interpret the internal feelings and sensations that guide your decisions. It is important to remember that trusting your instincts does not mean ignoring logic or data. Instead, it is about finding a balance between intuition and rational analysis. Sometimes the best decision comes from combining what you feel with what you know. Think of a compass that, when used in conjunction with a map, can accurately guide you to your destination. Your instincts act as that compass, helping to guide your decisions in a way that aligns with your inner truths. One practical way to apply this is to start paying more attention to your internal feelings and emotions when making decisions. Ask yourself, how do I feel about this choice, and is this aligned with what I really want? By doing this, you begin to build a stronger relationship with your instincts and better understand how they can be a reliable guide. In short, trusting your instincts is a powerful skill that can be developed with practice and self-reflection. It's not just about following your instincts, but about listening to the inner wisdom that comes from your accumulated experience and knowledge. By learning to balance your instincts with rational analysis, you can make more confident decisions that are aligned with your own needs. Now that you know the secrets to trusting your instincts and developing a millionaire mindset, it's time to put that knowledge into practice. Remember, success isn't just about luck, it's about how you use your skills, intuition, and strategic decisions to achieve your goals. By integrating trusting your instincts with the millionaire mindset, you're equipping yourself with the tools you need to thrive and transform your life. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more tips on how to develop a millionaire mindset and achieve success. Share this video with your friends and help spread the word about life-changing knowledge. Until next time, keep striving for excellence in every decision you make.